Business. Hello, good evening. Likutey Moharan here. We're learning Torah Kafches, in which we have the Rebbe has established so far that there are people who hear Torah from sages, Talmidei Chachamim, that are called Jewish demons. And the reasons why they're called Jewish demons is because the Torah that they receive from the portal of Torah, which is the Alphin, the supernal Alephs, and this is where the Torah comes from. Shlomo HaMelech received the Torah from there, but they don't receive it directly, but they receive it as it goes through the realm of the demons, of the Chitzonium. And as a result, they acquire the things that typify not what the Olam call, figures to be demonic inyanim, but it gives their Torah two attributes which are critical. One of them is the Torah is full of Mishalim, of proverbs. Things fit very nicely. They speak beautifully. They can be very entertaining. That's one thing. The second thing is that Torah is sterile. The very same way that all the Sitra Achra is sterile. It never, people think that, they're going to get more money, they're going to get more this, they're going to get more that things will be better, and this is how to get things done, but how to get ahead in the game. But everything that comes from Sitra Achra is sterile. There's no progeny. There's no continuation. It doesn't give birth to anything good. So as a result, the anybody that listens to Torah from these Talmidei Chachamim, which are a Jewish, they had the quality of being Jewish demons. What they receive from this Torah, from being present in these shurim, is basically as much as you get when you put your hand, when light comes out of the Venetian blinds and the sun comes down. The room is dark. You can see these columns of light, that are dancing in the dark. You see the motes of dust dancing in these columns of light. And if you try to catch these columns of light, you end up with absolutely nothing in your hand. When people come to the shurim of these Talmidei Chachamim, they figure that they will get out of it ways and means, strength, information, strategy, tactics, whatever you want to call it, to bring a person closer to Kadosh Baruch Hu. There are so many things that are needed, that you need to hear when you hear Torah. Because the Torah is called 613 advice. That's what the Zohar calls it. Advice. So you need advice on everything. You need advice on how to handle good times. You need advice on how to handle difficult times. You need to handle. You need advice on how to handle disappointments, and advice on how to handle, you know, manic euphoria. You need advice. You need to know things. There's so much instructions that we need in order to. But the thing is that the Torah that goes through the Jewish demons, I mean the demons, is devoid of any of that. All it has is just, a gorgeous entertainment value, but it does not bring a person closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The results of that, I mean, what's the big deal? People go to see movies, so no. But the point is that people go to see movies. They don't go to see movies in order to get, greater Yir Shemayim. When they go to the shiurim of Talmidei Chachamim, they expect to become better. They expect to improve in Avodas Hashem. When that doesn't happen, there's a certain medicum of disillusionment that gets into their heart. It actually is congealing into heresy. Basically, not only when they hear the Torah from these Chachamim that they just get tired. They don't get anywhere. They don't get to, they don't get closer. They don't wake up to Avodas Hashem. They spend time, Baruch Hashem, listening to Torah, but it doesn't bear fruit. But what comes into their heart is they know when they actually come to the shir initially, is that they want to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Everybody, kol chofetzim lirei shmecha. Everybody wants to be Yirei Shamayim. But the thing is that the grind of life, you go another day and another day and another day, and it's sort of, it's grinding. And if you come and you listen to Torahs, and the Torahs are so entertaining, they're so, so many mishalim and militzas and all kinds of beautiful, but it leaves you no better than when you started. What enters the people's heart is a very insidious conviction that Hashem cannot really help people to get close to Him. As a result, what happens is that people sort of formulate, religious societies. Some of them are tzaddikim, and some of them are Talmidei Chachamim, but basically they're really getting along with everybody, getting along with members of the community. There's always, somebody that you don't get along with, but they're getting along with members of the communities. They're getting along with the rabbi. They're getting along with Torah. They go to Daf Yomi Shir, Bli Neder. They're going to whatever it is that they do. Baruch Hashem, they come to shul 3 times a day. Whatever it is, there's only one entity that they don't get along with, and that's HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Like, you ask the average person that is not close to the tzaddik emes, what's your relationship with the HaKadosh Baruch Hu? And he will just open his eyes, really round eyes at you, and not know what to say. relationship between me and the Kadosh Baruch Hu. So then there will be all kinds of typical, from heresies. You gotta deserve it. You gotta be on a madrega. You gotta, all kinds of blah blah, which you're basically saying all the excuses for Hakadosh Baruch Hu why you are not any closer to Avodas Hashem than you are, and in fact, you don't even know how to approach, how to try to get closer to Hakadosh Baruch Hu. I mean, you go to these shurim, and they tell you about madregas of perfection, of achievement that has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you. It's not like, yeah. So at a certain point in time, somewhere inside you, you'll get resolved to the idea that so where's the Kadosh Baruch Hu? Is in a shul. The Sidurim, whatever it is, in there. This is where Kadosh Baruch Hu is. In the Oren Kodesh, whatever it is, and that's it. What kind of connections do you have to Kadosh Baruch Hu? When things, chas v'chalila, don't go right, so you set Tehillim, whatever it is, and you go to tzaddikim, you ask them to daven, but me, a shaykhs with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, I don't even know what you're talking about. This is the result of listening to Torahs from Talmidei Chachamim that are Jewish demons. And Rav Nosson says in the Tefillah, a person needs to daven for that. We basically have a tenet that says that wherever you go to learn Torah, whoever you hear the Torah from, whatever it is, it's fine, it's great, it's good. Rav Nosson says in Likutey Tfilos, he says a person needs to beg HaKadosh Baruch Hu not to hear Torah from the Talmidei Chachamim, they are Jewish demons. Because what they do is that they cool off, they freeze off your Shemayim. And you come to the point that, and what happens then is that these people that have that innocence in Kirvas Hashem, basically burnt out and poisoned and twisted within them, they view and treat people who are really Yeshamayim with total disdain. Nah, they're just fakers. They're nothing. They don't, they don't mean nothing. And they're crazy, and, they're dancing on cars, and they're screaming by davening, and whatever it is that they seem to be doing, they're going to Uman, they leave their families on holidays and all alone to fend for themselves and put themselves at risk, all kinds of shtuyot. Basically, anybody who had a shtickle Yerushalayim in the olden days would travel to his Rebbe for the Yom Tovim. They wouldn't be home from before Rosh Hashanah, from Elul, the end of Elul, until after the Yom Tovim. At least after Yom Kippur, depends where they lived. If not, only after Sukkot. They wouldn't be home. Now, you're going to Uman, you're flying to Uman, whatever it is, for 5 days, 4 days. Woo, what they're doing. And they treat the Yerushalayim, the people of Yerushalayim, the Elohim, with contempt, with contempt, because basically within them they are convinced that the whole thing is fake. It's a kind of game that we play, but it's a. So Rabbeinu says the only way to overcome them, in order to overcome them, and the only way it's necessary to overcome them. Milchatchila you would say, what do you care? What they say what they say. They don't say what they don't. So who cares what they say? I mean, what's the? That's not the point. The point is that there's a reason why they chep it with you. The reason why they tease you and they put you down and they deride you and they laugh at you and they're being pugnacious towards you. That's because that heresy which is within them is a result from a Torah that was learnt, that was gained through the filter of the demons. Now that Torah obviously has good in it. It's Torah. It was sterilized along the way. It was twisted. It was corrupted along the way. It was made irrelevant along the way. But the Torah is still there. So what does the Kadosh Baruch Hu do? Kadosh Baruch Hu, you have these people who are damaged. They are the victims of listening to this kind of Torah. And they come to you and they put you down. And by you accepting what they're saying properly, not only, you overcome them, but you actually fix the Torah that was corrupted by going through the Jewish demons. And you elevate the Torah. We have the same kind of principle, drawn at great length in Torah base. Rabbeinu says exactly the same thing. He says the reason why most of the learners speak, treat the tzaddikim with contempt and jeer, is and he says because that they think that the Torah that they learn is full with cunning and they know that they're bluffers. And they figure that Tanama also Chas v'Chalila were bluffers. And the whole thing, and the reason why Kadosh Baruch Hu makes it so that they dispute on the tzaddikim, that they persecute the tzaddikim will retrieve, will rescue the Torah that came into them, elevate it back to what it's supposed to be. So in order to do this, we need, when Yirshem have charofas v'bizyonis, the Eitzah is Toilo, this is Avram, this is Emunah, Pchinas Chesed. The person needs to get this madrega of Chesed, and then is zoicha to a specific of Toilas, of Toila. This is with this Chesed, he is actually rectifying these fallen Aleph letters, from which the Talmidei Chachamim receive the Torah. There's a little remez in Shmois Oisa Chesed La Alofim. The way that you retrieve the Alephs, the Alofim, is through Chesed. Now Rabbeinu speaks about how do you achieve this Chesed. So he says, V'lo v'lo Chesed, how do you come to this? How do you acquire this Madrega of Chesed? Ayi efshar lovoi ela al yedei shiachnis Talmidei Chachamim tzaddikim doch beisei. You need to have Talmidei Chachamim tzaddikim as guests in your home. Ki machnis orchim Talmidei Chachamim amitim doch beisei. Anybody who accepts Talmidei Chachamim tzaddikim into his house, Keilu ikrib tmidin, as if he offered, the daily burnt offerings, the Beis Hamikdash every day. As Chazal said on the pasuk that the Isha Shonam said about Elisha, Ish Kodesh Over Aleinu Tamid. There's a holy man that passes by us always. Is Tamid. Tamid means constantly. Tamid also is miramas to Oilas Tamid. Zikri Tmidin. So anybody who hosts a Talmid Chacham in his house and is being mahana that Talmid Chacham from his property, from his whatever it is that he owns, the Kofsov said about him as if he is offering Tmidin. This is what Chazal says, Oiver Aleinu. The fact that he is coming to us, that he is residing, he is our guest, like Tamid. It's like Korban Tamid. And when they are in your house, and you serve them, and you, as in any which way you can, you are zoicher to chesed, a certain inner quality of chesed. And we can see that Chazal said in Masechet Ksubas, in a left field kind of way. From declaration of no, you're here, yes. As Chazal said, Kol hamonea talmido milishamshem, anybody who prevents his talmid from being mishamshem, from serving him, keilo monea mimeno chesed, he is like preventing from him chesed. So, what it says, Rashi says that lamas re'eu chesed. This is the pasuk when this is the Gemara says over there that what is lamas, anybody who's memis atzmei mere'eu, and that prevents himself from being close, from getting his talmid to serve him, is like taking away the chesed from him. This chesed, besides, you're doing chesed with everyone. Anybody that comes to you, any guest that comes to your house, there's a chesed, there's tremendous chesed that you're doing by serving him, by whatever it is. But when you are doing it to a Talmid Chacham, a tzaddik, who's a real tzaddik, a real El Chayid, what happens is that you are getting out of it a lot more than you put in. You're always getting out of it more than you put in, always. But specifically, the higher madrega that your guest is, the more you get out of it. Rabbeinu says, anybody who gives me is getting from me. He says, by me, nobody has ever lost. Whatever it is that you give to the tzaddik, you're getting from him. So the giving to the tzaddik is like giving, or hosting somebody who is a tzaddik, Talmid Chacham, whatever. What happens is like a person who is sowing kernels of wheat or whatever it is on a good soil, that it produces 10 times, 100 times more than he has spent on it. So in other words, that what you're getting is, it's always you're getting chesed. When you do chesed, you get chesed. You become chesedik. It's a constant thing. But the thing is, when you're doing it with a tzaddik and a Talmid Chacham, it equips you with a mila of chesed, a certain attribute of chesed that is way beyond anything that you can actually, okay, I'm going to do a ma'aseh chesed. You're doing a ma'aseh chesed, but it's an inner mila that you're getting. Which is zeh shimush, says, Yizochet chesed, as we explain. And when you're zochet to this chesed, your chesed is emunah, you're zochet to a very special kind of emunah. And what it does, it cuts down It chops off the heresies and the bizyonis that are coming on him from people that are makabel the Torah through Talmidei Chachamim that are Jewish demons. And on top of that, he also rectifies the fallen olives, the Torah. Bishvil zeh, says Rabbeinu, haya atomid keves. This is why, different animals, served for, for different korbanos, but the animal that was served as korban tamid was always a keves, was always a lamb. Why? So what is it got to do? Kimimenu, from keves, nistaknu ha'alfin. This keves is the one from which the alfin gets fixed. B'chinas, as the prophet Yirmiyahu says, Va'ani kechesev al keves oluf. I am like a lamb that is being taken to slaughter. But the words that is oluf means that I am a keves that is being led. Alpha Chacham is being taught, being forced to walk a certain way in order to be slaughtered. But the language that is used here, it doesn't say I'm like a slaughtered lamb or a lamb taken to be slaughtered. He says, V'ani keves oluf. Oluf, he says, the remez here, it is through keves, through lamb, which is korban tamid, which is a pchinas chesed, that you are being, hosting. Talmidei Chachamim tzaddikim, you are fixing the pchinas of aleph. The keves aleph, you are fixing the aleph. V'zeh pchinas keves, so keves is, it when it's spelled, the shin has the dot on the left side, you say the word keves, it means lamb. But when the dot is on the right side, you don't say keves, you say kevesh. Kevesh means the thing that you are walking on, the thing which is trodden. The Mizbeach had this long, led up to the Mizbeach, this incline. It's called Kevesh HaMizbeach, because you're walking on it to go up to the Mizbeach. When you're talking about conquering somebody, is kibush, right? Godol koivish esitzroi mi koivish ir, right? It's greater somebody who conquers his yetzer than somebody who conquers a town. Kovish means you tread on somebody and you defeat them. This is kevesh. So kevesh also means, when you take vegetables and you put them, you marinate them, right? What do you call it? You call it kavush, right? Herring kavush. Ask David. Your kevesh, you're pressing them down in the marinade. It's pressed down, it's trodden down in the kevesh. Mishon kavush, grov kavush, and so forth. So the kevesh is also a pchinas of kvisha, of being trodden. Shekavush tachat yad raboy umisham mishratam. That you're being like subservient under the hand of your Rebbe, and you serve them. V'zeh tamid. The word tamid is tataf mem dalad, gematria 4 times the word aleph. Because subchinas tamid, that you bring Talmidei Chacham into your house, and you are being mishamish them, and you zeichet a chesed, through this chesed, you fix the fallen olives. That's the remez, lemi medonim, lemi siach. Lemi medonim, siach, as Rashi says over there, whoever his, quarrels with people, and and he speaks too much, is, it says, Oy va'avoy. Ki b'rov dvarim rov pesha. When a person talks too much, he ends up being in trouble. Let me see who has the quarrels, who is the one who is getting into trouble otherwise. The one who doesn't know when to shut up, the one that keeps on yakking. That's the one that ultimately gets into trouble. They are siach. Siach is Rishatevis Chochem Shin Daled Yehudi. A Chochem that is a Jewish demon. Al Yado, through him, is Medonim, is quarrels, is disputes, is Bizyonis, Ki Al Yado ba Isnagdus. Through him comes Isnagdus. The tachlis is that we need to understand, we need to remember that we have to daven a lot. We really have to daven a lot. How shall I say it? Life is not funny. It's very good, but it's not funny. Reality, we're trying to put all different kinds of scenarios in our heads that will allow us, as Reb Nosson says, to get into Gan Eden without taivas. Yeah, that's the way we are. But reality is that life passes, time passes. And, as Rabbeinu says, that when after 120 years, when a person lies down on the ground, he says he will know that had he listened to me, there would not have been a madrega in the world that I would have not brought him to. But then it's going to be too late. So the main Indian is don't let it get too late. Talk about it. Talk to Kodesh Baruch Hu about it as much as you can. Some more, some less. Talk about it. Be merabe b'tefillah. Talk a lot about it as much as you can. Ribbono shel olam, save me. Help me close my eyes from something that I need to close my eyes. Ribbono shel olam, let me not see things that I need not to see. Let me daven, let me pray, let me make hisbodedus, let me learn Torah, let me come close to friends that are bringing me up, and bring me close to the tzaddikim, and prevent me from hearing all kinds of foreign opinions that people formulate for themselves, and they think that they're very, very smart. Save me from that. Save me from that. There's so about everything, about health, about everything. That Hashem HaKadosh Baruch Hu should help us, and next week we will continue to to explain how this particular Torah is based in, is embedded in the exchange between Reb Shimon ben Chananya and the Sava de Be'atuna that we have started with. B'ezrat Hashem, Bli Neder, tomorrow evening, we have at 8 o'clock in the Breslin Medrash. I hope, B'ezrat Hashem, to see as many of you as possible, and I bid you Kol Tov Selah.